because that's what it's all about. We want to hear the juicy details. And today is two things from the CDC, which I think are interesting. And you're like, CDC, dude, I don't want to hear about like political and all that nonsense. No, this isn't political at all. This is actually kind of crazy. So they came out and said today that fully vaccinated people may gather outdoors without masks. First of all, I want to know, we did this last week too. Who's getting that vaccine? Are you getting that vaccine, or are you running for the hills like me? Because I'm not a doctor, so I don't know. This is probably a bad move on my part, but I'm running for the hills if they try to get me to get that vaccine. I can't do it. You had it, Ashley. Oh my gosh, how is it? You survived? Good. Well, the crazy thing is, they say that could be like the key to letting everyone go back together again. I mean, obviously, right? That's been the whole premise of this whole thing. But it's interesting to hear that now, not only is it going to make the virus thing better, it makes it so now we don't even need masks. So I don't know. I think if enough people get it, we should be cool, right? That wasn't even the crazy thing that the CDC put out today. Did anyone see the zombie apocalypse article? No? I cannot make this stuff up, y'all. I can't do it. I can't. There was an official CDC article talking about a zombie apocalypse and how to prepare for it. I swear to you. It was sent to me by a friend today. I looked it up. It's legit. And what they're basically saying is that, with everything going on with the, people being inside all the time, with the change in pace, that there's literally a threat that people are going to start turning into zombies in its clearest description, which in a way I kind of get, you know what I mean? Like when we're all like cooped up in our homes, a lot of people aren't getting creative with how they get out and how they get their energy out and how they, really take themselves out into the world and give themselves some kind of normalcy. I've been grateful, I have skateboarding. Skateboarding is my thing. Since the pandemic started, it's like, okay, can't go to eat, can't go to restaurants. Well, I can go outside and skateboard. So that's like been my thing, and that's what's kept me kind of human throughout all this, because otherwise, without DJing in the clubs and being able to go out to restaurants, it's like, what do we do? So, it's interesting that they felt the need to put out that article about the zombie apocalypse, but when I really think about it, like in depth, it's not that crazy, right? But I don't know if that article actually really helped. What up, Captain Sunshine? This is probably my least favorite thing that I saw in the media today, but it was important enough that we had to talk about it. I gotta get some water. I just kind of threw up in my mouth a little bit. Gross. What up, She-Wolf? So, who's familiar with cancel culture? Can I get a 1 in the chat if you're familiar with what cancel culture is? Because cancel culture is something, we didn't even know that term, right? Like, rewind like 3.5 years ago, we didn't even know what the word cancel culture was. That wasn't even a thing that crossed our beautiful little minds. Now, we all know what cancel culture is, and chances are we've all had someone that we know and care about who has been canceled. If that's you, put a 1 in the chat. Put a 1 in the chat. Put a 1 in the chat. Because for me, man, this year, Bass Nectar got canceled, one of my favorite artists of all time. Not saying if he deserved it or not. I don't know. I wasn't in the situation, but he got canceled. There's a bunch of musicians that got canceled this year. Aunt Jemima got canceled this year. I mean, it's been rough, super rough for cancel culture. And the crazy thing is now it's not just people that are being canceled. It's things, it's products, it's organizations. And the crazy thing is these people that are getting canceled don't even have to do anything wrong. All you got to do to be canceled in 2021 is either have a controversial opinion that enough people disagree with, or make enough people mad. What up, Daddy J? It's so easy to cancel people right now, and that is what's absolutely disgusting to me. And today, under fire for cancel culture is none other than Jerry from Tom and Jerry. Can you believe this? Can you believe this? Now, first of all, before we dive into that specific thing, If you could think of one cartoon character that deserves to be canceled, who would it be? Tell me in the chat right now. Tell me in the chat. I want to know what cartoon character, if you had to cancel one, could be canceled. Because I'm going to start. One of my favorites, I think Beavis and Butthead could be canceled because they literally just go around calling people dumb and like steal things and like do bad things all the time. Hilarious show. But they definitely could be canceled super, super easily. I think Danny Phantom could be canceled. There's that episode of Danny Phantom where he barges into the women's restroom. That was pretty awful. I'm just saying. And I mean, even furthermore, like, how about Patrick Star? Patrick Star killed someone in an episode of SpongeBob. I mean, this is SpongeBob we're talking about. He could be canceled. South Park is a whole different story. Good point there, Daniel. Oh my gosh. South Park. Yeah, Kim too. I saw that. Power Rangers. Well, why Power Rangers? Tell me about that, Casper. Oh, thank you, Gabby. The one thing that's kind of scary that I think is gonna affect cancel culture too is I'm looking at you, Gabby, all the OnlyFans people. Like, no shame in that game, but I think like later in life that might get scary. Hey, what up, Chris? Thank you. I think that could be some scary stuff because if there's like a massive revolt on OnlyFans people, you just never know. You just never know, Gabby. You never know what could happen. But I think it's absolutely crazy. Jerry's coming under fire today. They said because of the way he behaves. Hey, thank you. The way he behaves has, I guess, essentially his aggressive nature is causing other people to think that they can behave aggressively. Like, do I believe this? No. And if that's the case, if I'm being real, we should probably be canceling Call of Duty then, right? Because that's teaching kids that they can go shoot people in the head and get points for it and get awarded for it. So if we're going to go down cancel culture, rabbit holes like that, I almost feel like that's where we need to start. But that being said, I wanted to open this conversation up between us as kind of a PSA because if I'm being real, we got to stop this. I think we got to stop cancel culture. And I know we can't stop it altogether. I know we're not that big of a community. But that being said, we can do our part by not contributing to cancel culture. That means when things start to bubble up on social media, we can keep our lips zipped because we don't all have to be throwing gasoline on that fire as it burns. You know what I mean, Wolf Taps? You know what I mean, Razine? We don't have to. I think... So Miles, you think cancel culture is needed to balance things out? That's interesting because I honestly could not feel any differently than that. I don't think it needs it at all. And truthfully, I think that that cancel culture is just kind of ruining us. Like, I think it's turning our own people against each other. I mean, for example, with like the Bass Nectar thing, which he's if you guys don't know, he's an American electronic artist or was an American electronic artist, and it got to a point where when he was getting canceled, people were like, because he had a huge community around him of people that would literally follow him around the country and things like that. And it got to a point to where it was splitting these communities in half because, some people would be like, oh yeah, he got canceled, F him forever, go away, whatever. But then you got other people who are like, wait a second, like, we don't even know the full story. Why don't we sit back and be logical about this? And then you got those people butting heads because like the people on one side, no, oh, you don't want to cancel him, oh, cancel you support that. And it's like, I think cancel culture is bad, not because it I kind of agree. It takes the wager down a bit for people. But that being said, it turns people against each other. And I just don't think that's any way to go about solving a problem. And I also think, it's kind of like when you're a kid, right? Like if you get grounded, it's not going to make you not want to do whatever you did to get grounded. It's just going to make you wait until you do it again. So it's like, I think we need to start approaching situations like that with like therapy. Like if someone has a situation come out, it's like they should be required to go to therapy and they should be able to come out and they should be okay. Personal opinion. Last thing on my entertainment news before we get into our guests on Choff FM. I love this one. Who remembers Paul Wall? The sitting sideways monster from Houston, Texas. The guy who flossed. The guy who had the grills. Yes, that's him. One of the biggest jewelers in the world with Johnny Dang. Shout out to Paul Wall because this week, Eminem, you might have seen, came under some fire over the. He basically they pulled up some old song lyrics, which Eminem's song lyrics have been evil since like the beginning of time. They resurfaced some of his stuff, and basically we're trying to cancel him. And in the midst of trying to cancel Eminem, people were coming out and saying, "Hey, what up, Zen?" People were saying Paul Wall is like one of the greatest Caucasian rappers of all time who has not gotten his credit for it. Now, I would challenge that, saying he's the best rapper of all time. I would challenge that, Jameson and Zen and Daniel. But that being said, the guy's a legend, and I'm happy to see that he's still getting the recognition he needs. Hey, Charisma, welcome to the family. I'm glad you joined us just in time for the show tonight. How cool. Thank you for the favorite. So we got a big show lined up. That's our entertainment news for the day. So much going on, and I hate to say it, but so much of it was like not great today. A lot of negativity, but you know what? We fight through it. We're all about that positivity because today on Choff FM, we're unstoppable. That's what we're talking about. The moments you cannot be stopped. The moments to where no one can stand in your way. Jet Set, welcome to the family. Tony, welcome to the family. And Lenka, if you want to go ahead and request that box really quick, we want to get Lenka's little story about how she cannot be stopped. And it's International Women's Day, too, so it's super special. Hey, thank you. What up, Mark Law? Welcome to the family. I appreciate you for that. Lenka in this. I always be leaving my volume down.
Hello. Can you hear me? Hi, everyone.
Hi, and
oh my God, the medium box.
Thank you for being
Hello,
here.
everyone. No, thank you so much for inviting me here. I really appreciate it.
I'm so happy to have you. Lenka, we just met like probably 3-4 days ago on the app, and I feel like we're best friends now. I don't know, maybe just a little bit, but for those who might not know you, tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do and how you got on this amazing platform.
Well, I got on this amazing platform thanks to my friend Adam Bird. He brought me here, and I don't know. I enjoy streaming. You know, I like this. This is my passion. This is what I do. I'm from Russia. For those who don't know that, so it kind of makes me exceptional a little bit because you're only from the States and all the other countries, and I'm like, oh, hello, I'm from Russia. Like I live in Siberia, the coldest place on the earth. Cold.
Do you ever get summer there? I've never like even looked at what the weather is there. What's it like in the middle of summer?
Yes, of course. Like summer's pretty good. It's pretty warm. We may get to, I don't know, plus 30 Celsius.
Oh, okay.
So
Not bad.
yeah, it's good. All good.
It's like Michigan, where I'm at.
Yeah, right. Like in Boston, the weather is the same sometimes in winter. So like, yo, hello.
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 So what is your passion in life, Lenka?
My passion in life. I used to think that my passion in life was translation studies and everything. But yeah. But right now
4 languages, right?
not exactly. I mean, I fluently speak Russian, English. I studied French for 3 years at the uni. I can speak a little bit of Spanish. I can understand it. I know a couple of phrases in Brazilian version of Portuguese. I still remember Kazakh language because I was born and raised in Kazakhstan. And what else do I know? Something else. I don't remember.
You just said more languages than I even knew existed. That's amazing. So today on the show, I wanted to talk about moments to where we can't be stopped. I mean, in the spirit of International Women's Day, you know, the success story that women have had, at least in the country of America where I'm at, as well as many other countries around the world, is just amazing. I mean, from, you know, coming from an era where there was this box that women were placed in, and it was almost as if they had to, not even almost it was as if they had to like literally fight for their life to get out of it, to where we are now. I thought it would be the perfect topic for this day. And I know, Lenka, you've had some challenges in your day, you know, going throughout life and doing all the great things that you do. So tell me a little bit about a time to where someone was like, whoa, and you were like, no.
Yeah, I do have such moments. And I think the biggest moment ever that happened to me in my life was on my way through school and university. I was always competing not with myself, but with my parents, actually, with my parents and my grandparents. So in Russia, we have this system of like 5 grades: one, two, three, four, five. And my grandmother, she first got her free when she was in the 7th grade. It was for physics. I was like, no, 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 no. I'm not gonna get free in the 7th grade. Nah. So I did that. So like, I mean, I over won her or whatever, and like I got four, which was kind of an accomplishment for me. Then my mom, she got her first free when she was in the 9th grade. I was like, no, oh my, I was near that. I almost got free, but I got four eventually. So, and I finished school with like only two, 4 marks on physics, for physics and algebra, I think. And then in university, I don't know why, but like I was like, so in Russia, there is such a system that we have two kind of diplomas: red diploma and blue diploma. Red diploma indicates that it is the diploma with distinctions that you'd been like excellent during your studies. Blue
I,
diploma is
I
like,
would have got
oh,
the
it's
blue
just a diploma.
diploma. Heads up.
And so I have a bachelor degree in linguistics. I graduated last year, like July 2020. Um, for those who don't know, it's like about translation languages. And guess what? I always wanted to have the red diploma. I don't know why. I have no idea. For no reason, I want like red diploma, whatever, Linka. You're gonna get it. You're gonna get your red diploma. And oh my God, I did not sleep at all. Like, when it was my first year of studying, I slept only 4 hours on average per week. Four
Real.
hours on average. Yeah, I did not sleep at all. My friends were like, Linka, what are you doing? Are you like crazy? What are you doing to yourself? I had like one panic attack on that note because once I got like four, not five. Can you imagine? And that was really crazy. I was kind of killing it in a literal sense. Um, but like 4 years of studying, and guess what? I have
Hey,
it.
she got the red one.
Yeah, of course I got the red one. And guess what? Guess what? Throughout the whole course of studying at the university, 4 years, I got only one freaking B mark. One. Thank you, Chris. Thank you so much. Only one B mark. Guess what? It was Russian freaking language.
No way.
Yeah. That was like, yo, what? Like French, English, everything was perfect. And by the way, like I was really bad at English when I just entered the university. I was like bad. And everyone was like, wow. And I'm like, what can I do?
So
And yeah, I made it there.
I love that. Well, congratulations on making it through that.
Thank you.
Let me ask you
But you
this.
know, I never used it. So it's like in the dust on my shelf.
Yeah. So when you were going through it and working for that goal, were you working for it because you actually wanted the red diploma, or were you working for it almost as like a you can't stop me, mom and dad, or like, you're telling me I'm going to be this, but I'm going to be this. Like, were you almost doing it out of spite in a sense?
I would say a little bit of both. I'm a perfectionist. Oh, well, maybe not now, but like, I used to be a perfectionist. And like I had that syndrome of the A student. So I hated when I got like 4 marks, like B marks instead of A's. I was like, oh my God, no. He was better than me. She was better than me. No, 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 no. I'm going to be the best one.
I love that though. I was always that kid. If we're talking about school, I was always the one in school that was like hoping that the class failed. That way it would bring, like the teacher would curve it. You know what I
You're
mean?
right.
I
You
was gonna
feel
pass
me.
it. I was a C's get degrees kind of person. So
Yeah,
with
that's what I'm saying. I don't know. I always wanted to be first. Like, this is what I'm best at. Like, English was my favorite subject all time. And I was like, nah, if I'm doing this, I'm doing this at my best. And
yeah.
I became the best one. Speaking of our like group, like of 200 people.
Oh wow. So this was this was something you had to work for though. It didn't just come easy to you.
Of course, now it didn't come easy to me because, as I told you, like I was stuck in English language at first when I just entered the university. My English was bad, and everything was kind of nah. I don't know. I had to like watch a lot of Netflix, TV series. Like I had 7 hours of English in university, like 6 hours of French and everything. It was really hard for me because as I told you, originally I was from Kazakhstan, and like my English was not that good because of that. Like we did not study English that properly as they do here in Russia. So they kind of had that advantage. But I said, I'm gonna make it there.
You moved around
And I
so
did.
much. Was that tough for you?
No, I mean, I just moved from Kazakhstan to Russia,
Okay.
you know,
So
and that's it.
okay. Okay. What are just because I don't know, is there a lot of cultural difference there?
Kinda, yeah, yeah, definitely different. Well, Kazakhstan, despite the fact that Kazakhstan is a post-Soviet Union country, Kazakhstan has kind of the Russian cities, the cities that are kind of closer to Russia, and that is why, like people that they are more Russians, and even Kazakh people. I mean, in terms of ethnicity, they can't speak Kazakh language
Oh wow.
because just they grew up in this surroundings where people were speaking only Russian language. So I grew up in a city like that. It was a real, not even the city, it was like a small town. It resembles a village, to be honest. So I've been living there for what, 16 years. And yeah, and I don't know, yeah, the culture itself, the Kazakh culture is different. It looks more Asian, way more Asian. And Kazakh people, they look like Chinese people, not to offend anyone, all good. But they do look like Chinese people, and like, well, Russian people look like that. So,
Okay.
and they do have their own traditions.
I do
So,
think it's interesting
like in
too.
Mongolia, the
Okay.
same.
Yeah. Um, that's interesting about the language thing too, because I think we take for granted how much the world is at our fingertips, knowing how to speak English. Like people think English is like, a boring language or like super bland, but like just knowing how to speak English puts you in like such a different caliber of life because so much of the world like speaks English, even if it's not their dominant language. You know what I mean? So that's awesome you're able to learn that. It's awesome you're able to like make that happen. And I feel like that was like a huge piece of the puzzle too, to like, even like having you be able to come on here and be successful. If you didn't speak English, like how would, you know what I mean? It'd be so tough for you to interact with people.
Exactly, exactly. That's what I'm saying. I know English is my favorite language. I do want to live in an English-speaking country. This is my dream. I feel like I do belong more into the English-speaking surroundings than the Russian one. So I just love
I need to learn a second language. You got me inspired now.
it.
Maybe maybe instead of Rosetta Stone, we can have Lenka Stone teaching us. But
Wow. Do you want me to teach Russian?
I could learn. I could learn anything.
It's really hard. It's really complicated. If I were a foreigner, guys, I would never learn Russian. I don't know. Like, I think the fact that I got the B mark, the only B mark in university for Russian, I think that is because of that. I
Yeah,
really don't like Russian language.
I love it. Lenka, you're amazing, and you seriously inspire me every day, and even more so now hearing this story. So I'm super glad that we got connected, and I'm really glad that you were able to come on and share today.
Thank you so much. No, thank you so much again for inviting me here. It's really my pleasure and my honor to be here.
Yes, thank you for being here, and happy International Women's Day.
Oh, thank you so much. All the girls have International Women's Day. We do celebrate in Russia. It's a big holiday here.
Oh
So
yeah.
much love to you all.
Oh yes. Everyone send Lenka that love, and we'll chat with you later.
Bye bye. See ya. I'm amazing. Like
You're amazing.
you are. Come on. Get me out of here.
I appreciate you, Lenka. Thank you
Much
so
love.
much. Bye. Oh my goodness. Yo, Lenka just makes me feel good about like the world. Like speaking with her and hearing her stories and hearing the way she navigates things, and also she never sleeps. Like I don't know what time is it right now in Russia, Lenka? If you haven't dipped already. Because I know it's not a feasible hour, or maybe it is, I guess. But she's always, it's okay. It's 9:30 a.m. Not that bad. But she's always on at like crazy hours to where I'm just like, you're nuts, it's crazy. You crazy girl. New friends, hi and welcome. I'm Choff. This is Choff FM, our radio show on the app, and also on 94.7 Hits FM in Montreal. If you haven't already, hit that star up top. Join our family. We do this every week. We talk about spicy stuff. We talk about inspiring stuff. We talk about stuff that we wished we could have forgotten, but we can never forget it. Hi, Lizzie. Like a thank you, and thank you for coming on. We got Charisma coming on in just a second. Charisma, if you don't know her, which you probably do, she's such an inspiring person. I'm so excited to get to chat with her today. Lizzie, thank you. But really quick, I want to talk about a funny story to where I was kind of unstoppable in my lifetime. And that's the topic today, is talking about moments where you could not be stopped, when someone was like, hey, stop. And you're like, no. So, fun story. When I was 17 years old, my parents, they were like unsure of the path that I was heading down in life. And it was more their own, I think, insecurities, because I was like, not doing the greatest in school. I wasn't failing out of school, but like I wasn't doing the greatest. And like, they had wanted me to like play sports and stuff, and I wasn't doing that. And I was kind of just like, impressed with where I was at. And my parents sold my car when I was 17 years old. And imagine being, in high school. That's the year like everyone gets their cars and gets their licenses. And all of a sudden you go from being the cool kid with the car and being able to go everywhere with your friends all the time and hang out and like, do sweet stuff, to all of a sudden you have no car, you have no transportation, you can't get anywhere. I didn't live in a place where I could really walk anywhere. So what I did to be unstoppable, and yeah, I couldn't cart people around, but I started longboarding everywhere. I'm not kidding you. I would ride my longboard 3 miles at 6 in the morning to school. I would ride my longboard 5 miles to work. I literally refused to change my lifestyle, and I just integrated my skateboarding and longboarding into it. And it taught me so much. Like it seems like such a little thing. Oh, okay, cool. So what? You like started skateboarding. It showed me that if you have enough drive and enough passion and enough willpower, no one can take anything away from you. No one can stop you. You can be truly unstoppable. Right, Nicole? Right, Killy? Right, NorCal? You can be unstoppable. You just have to believe in yourself. You got to go above and beyond to make it happen. And the biggest thing is you got to be able to adapt, right, Blake? So that's my fun story. Charisma, if you want to go ahead and request that box, we're going to talk about moments where Charisma was unstoppable. Now, this girl's amazing. She's a business owner. She's a model. She's a hard-working, boss-ass babe. And I'm so excited to have her on to share some stories with us on the show today. Here we go. Charisma! Hello.
How are you?
How are things?
Awesome. It's so good to be here on your show. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thank you for, being here. Thank you for being willing to share. I felt like when I thought about the topic, when I thought about the day, I was like, it has to be Charisma. It has to.
I love it. Good vibes.
So
definitely unstoppable here.
Right? So yeah, he's so unstoppable. So for anyone that might not be familiar, give us kind of like a little intro of who you are, what you do, and how you got here.
Absolutely. My name's Charisma. I'm 22. I'm from Florida. I discovered this app and platform, Meet Me, when I was at the Playlist Live conference for my YouTube channel, One Day at a Time with Charisma. And on my YouTube is a great way to find out who I am and what I do. But basically, I'm a mindset and success coach. I do a lot of modeling, acting, entertaining, and I own my own restaurant as well.
So yeah. I didn't realize you were 22. Let me ask, how did you accomplish so much in such a short period of time?
Absolutely. I've always been super driven, but just taking things one day at a time is my motto, and setting goals each day, setting intentions, and taking action on it. If I weren't to take action and just speak about it, I wouldn't be where I am.
So did you have like an aha moment to where you were like, I need to start taking this one day at a time, or how did this come to you? Because I almost feel like there had to be like a revelation or something.
I'm still working on that for sure. It's something I struggle with daily is taking things one day at a time. That's kind of why I made it my motto and like a quote in the back of my head reminding myself because I'm constantly on the go and I have to like allow myself to relax. And I think we talked about that on my self-care when we discussed self-care on my show about how it's something I've struggled with is allowing myself to just like chill and take a moment. And I'm always on the go and just going after what's next. And so allowing myself to kind of like slow down is what I need. And that revelation kind of happened when I realized if I don't slow down, I'm gonna have a burnout or like other people are gonna be like, yo, you need to like take your time to chill.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even to get to a point to where you have that problem, it's like you have to be putting in so much into life to get to that pace. You know what I mean? Growing up, was it like a challenge that you felt yourself overcoming? Was it like you saw yourself in a position and you had to start working towards it? Like, what was that? I'm trying to get at what was that push? You know what I mean? Because
So being the youngest of all my family kind of pushed me because I wanted to like catch up and make sure I was doing what I needed to do to be like up with
yeah.
my sisters and older siblings. So that inspired me to like go. And then being in gymnastics was such a discipline and like confident booster and just got me to like set goals for myself growing up. And then same with like gymnastics and cheerleading going all the way into college sports as well. And then I traveled abroad for a year, so that opened my eyes to so much more. But I think just placing myself in certain situations, sports activities, groups, and like classes and such allowed me to see how much is out there and inspired me to like start trying things because there's so much available out there in life. And I'm so passionate about a lot of things that I feel like I want to accomplish them. So just seeing how amazing things are and knowing that we can do those things as long as we put our mind to it and action, it's like really inspiring to me to
I
just get it done.
I love that. It's before we get into it, I want to like touch on one thing you said there, which is like there's so many things, right? And you know, I think it can be tough for a lot of people to even start doing a lot of those things. Like there's, we see, there's sports, there's, these classes, there's, the internet. You could do this, you could do that, and it's like I almost feel like to even get to a position to where we start doing those things, it takes this like internal self-actualization that sometimes you kind of have to get creative and like push yourself outside of the box to like make those light bulbs start to go off. And I know for me that was huge. Like I was stuck in this rut of like not really doing much. I would play on the internet and I would like do my thing, but it was like it took like changing my routines. It took like starting to wake up early. It took like starting to do different things throughout my day that like almost opened these little light bulbs in my head or turned on these little light bulbs in my head that kind of helped along the way. So
Definitely. There's things I've struggled with, like getting up and just starting because they've been scary or I felt like full of doubt with myself. And that's something I help my clients overcome and realize like finding your passion and what your purpose is what's really going to help you get out of that rut and like get you going. Because we all have a passion deep inside of us and we might not be aware or have discovered our purpose yet. But once we see what it is, that's kind of gonna like push you and get you rolling and going to want to go and do more and get out of bed or start that activity that doesn't seem very exciting but can change your life.
And a lot like being unstoppable. I think a lot of it ties back to like momentum too, right? Once you start going, it's like boom, boom, boom. Okay, I get this. This makes sense. And that's how things I feel like kind of start to really blossom in life. So run it back for me. Let's talk about a time when you were totally unstoppable. I mean, obviously being a business owner, being into modeling, being into doing a great show on this app, and having all these things going on at once. It's like you experience adversity every single day. Like there's no question of it. So let's hear it.
So many times, all of us ladies and men have felt unstoppable at times or even felt like the opposite, where we felt like we kind of should give up. But when we push through that is when the most empowering feelings happen, and we realize we can achieve anything because we push through those hardest times. And for me, one that comes to mind specifically, it's kind of recent too because of Corona happening and such, but I opened my business a week after I turned 21, and I opened my own restaurant. So that was my first physical location business where people could walk inside and check out what was there. And within the first 10 days of opening my restaurant, I split the partnership. I bought 100% of the business, and we got broken into, burglarized with like several $1,000s missing and damaged, and just totally down the drain. So walking into my business at that situation was totally heartbreaking and very frightening because I was 10 days in and things were completely changed around and different than expected. And I had to be able to adjust and go with, while surviving, like go with the flow of life and the challenges while not giving up because I just opened my business.
Wow. It's like, what is your first step when that happens?
Yeah, it was crazy. So it was a partnership. It wasn't working out within the first week. I knew that. I was like, whoa, this is not the best idea. So I had to split that. And while splitting it, the whole whole breaking into my restaurant happened. And yeah, my thoughts were absolutely crazy. Like I did experience a lot of self-doubt, and I felt like I had no idea what I was going to do because I felt like I just created my baby and it was already like being hurt and such, because my restaurant's my baby. And so my first steps, I had to split the partnership and like get the lawyer and hire to get all that worked out, and then fixing all the damages with the business being broken into and insurance and such. But not allowing it to take over and stop me was the hardest part, and having to change certain security manners and matters and hiring processes and like cameras and stuff. But it's all lessons learned, and knowing that I can learn from every challenge and every experience is kind of what helped me push through, because if I didn't experience it then, it could have happened in the future and it could have been much worse. So I just tried to look at it in a light that I was learning lessons that were helping me rather than they were holding me back or tearing me down.
Sure. Someone dropped this line on me one time when I was really stressed about some stuff I was going through at work. And I think we've all been there at least once with work, which I'm sure your situation felt like this, where it feels like the whole world's on fire, right? And it's like you're kicking and fighting and trying to stay above water, and there's like nothing you can do. And the saying was, no matter what happens in life, you have time to breathe before you figure out how to handle it, right?
Yeah, that's good.
And I think that situation is a perfect example of how like it could go one of two ways, right? Either you emotionally react, and I'm sure there was some of that too. I'm sure that's normal. You experience all that. But in terms of the way you handle the situation, it's like you either emotionally react to it, or you sit there, you take a deep breath and say, okay, this happened. Now how do we move forward?
That's really good. I heard something similar where it's like the worst thing that can ever happen to you is an emotion. It's like, even if someone like something tragic happens, obviously it's not a good feeling, but it's all still feelings. Like breaking in, losing something, losing somebody, it's like all of it's feelings, and feelings aren't bad, they're not wrong, but you have to allow yourself to feel and breathe and then move on. You can't just sit there forever.
Right. And I think when I was on your show One Day at a Time, I think we kind of touched on a little bit of this when we were talking about self-care. And it's like those moments where you feel that overwhelming emotion, it's like you need to like pump the brakes for a second, like bring back your analytical brain, bring back your in the moment brain, and kind of your situational analysis brain, which I think is super, super vital in those situations, because it's like, you either have a super strong emotional reaction, which chances are is going to make it worse, or you approach it with a level head and you come to like effective conclusions. And I think that's a big thing with like being unstoppable in general, is it boils down to mindset. You know what I mean? If your brain is, we're going to make this work no matter what, you're going to make it work no matter what. Versus if you're sitting there and are like, oh, this is probably going to happen, but oh, I hope no one breaks into my restaurant. Oh, I hope this radio station stays on the air. It's like all these things. It's like,
right.
if you have the attitude of like it's happening no matter what, it's gonna happen no matter what.
Right. The way you communicate with yourself, if you're manifesting that, that's what's going to happen. It's going to become your reality. Because if you're surrounding yourself with those thoughts, it's going to become what's around you. And so when all of us get stuck in those moments that feel like they could stop us, it's like sitting back and realizing like, okay, this can take over and stop me, or I can like take control of the situation and not let it stop me. And it's really a choice. Like you said, mindset is definitely key when it comes to those things. Just realizing we're all so powerful and capable, and we are able to handle the situation or it wouldn't be there. We're only given situations we're able to overcome. So it might seem difficult because you've never overcome that situation before, but that doesn't mean you can't do so.
Sure. Let me ask you this. Say I'm someone who's coming to you for some coaching, right? And I'm telling you about all these things in my life. I'm like, oh, this is happening, this is happening. I feel defeated. I just want to give up. How do you convince that person that it's okay and that they are unstoppable?
Yeah, so I would ask, as a coach, I typically like ask them, my clients, questions to kind of bring out the answers that they already have, just help them become more aware. So I'd ask them like what feelings they're feeling, which are obviously like unstop, or they're feeling like they can't do it. And we would break it down into what thoughts are making them feel that way, and reverse those thoughts into more positive thoughts and feelings and habits, so that they can begin to build that confidence, so that they know they can achieve